You're watching WRKM Channel 22, number one in the region. The following WRKM broadcast for mature audiences only, so send the K's to bed. What are we talking about? Well, Matthew McConaughey started a cult, so I'm going to start one in return. A married couple does a very dark ritual to show their love for one another. And odd bedfellows, Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon got fired the same day from two different news organizations. Is there a future program here? We will hypothesize, imagine, dream, if you will. It's Thursday night. The other talks we can't have when the sun is up. Yeah, that sounds about right. Good evening. I'm Ralph and this will end in darkness. Everyone's getting in to the motivational game these days. Everyone is trying to be positive, send good vibes out. Everyone's just, doing their thing and they want you. Jeez, say it again. Everyone's doing their thing and they want you to do your thing. And there was no one who's more of an example of that than one Matthew McConaughey. Now, we've talked about his book Green Lights on here before. Very great book, I think. Has some cool, advice tips from one of the sexiest men in the world. Or at one time was the sexiest man alive. A lot of advice that only works if you are the sexiest man alive. But I did find the book, rewarding. Did find some things that worked for me, as Scientology would say. But this past Monday, he took it up a notch. Matthew McConaughey did what he called a first of its kind event. Him and three other people who, actually four. Him and four other people who are motivational speakers put on a 6-hour event where they were going to teach you the art of living. I don't know if Matthew has watched it back and realized it's not the first of its kind. It was really just a 6-hour infomercial where he was selling himself and his friends and their ideas. Not to take away anything from Matthew, I think he's really... The one thing I like about Matthew McConaughey is that he does believe. Like, when he talks about this shit and he gets in his bag, you can tell in his eyes he believes it. Because it's worked for him. And the thing is, well, of course you believe in the things that worked for you. They worked for you. They probably won't work for everyone else. But what I do like about him is that he kind of... A lot of it's deeply religious. Like, if you really break it down, a lot of it's really Jesus-y type stuff. But he reformats it in a rugged, drink whiskey, smoke cigarettes kind of way. And it's attractive. Like, if you're someone who is looking to have a better life, if you're someone who's looking to feel better about yourself, why not go, hey, Matthew McConaughey is my guru? That might mean something to someone. Some ladies might find that attractive. I don't know. But you certainly won't look like Matthew McConaughey. So that's where it begins and ends, really. You're listening to McConaughey, but you're not McConaughey. But he had like Tony Robbins on there. And it was interesting because I've always felt Tony Robbins was a little full of shit. I feel a lot of these guys are a little full of shit. Like they're all selling religion without religion. Like they're all talking about higher selves and inner purpose, but it's really just religion without the Jesus-y talk, which is what Scientology likes to think of itself as. You know, religion with a Jesus-y talk, you know, instead of demons, there's thetans and shit like that. And instead of, you know, the 10 commandments, there's rules to life, like Jordan Peterson. Everyone's selling their religion. I get it. You know, I think we're predisposed to want those things. I think we lie to ourselves when we say we want to push away from institutions and religion, and we don't want to be told what to think and what to feel, but deep down we do, because we borrow those same ideas from other people who were saying those things first. It kind of reminds like this is a deep cut reference. Most people won't get this unless you're a super video game millennial nerd. But in the game Metal Gear Solid 2, the character Raiden is arguing with the AI system, and the AI system is trying to prove that he doesn't have free will at all. And he tells, Raiden tells the AI, he's like, well, I'm going to choose for myself what my life means. And he goes, is that even your own thought or something your friend Snake told you? And it kind of like demoralizes Raiden, because in the end, we are all reacting to other people's ideas. Everything is inspired by someone else. So the first thought was the only real original thought. Everything else is just sampling. That's why I think hip hop, I think for me, I always respect it because it's a natural evolution. We're just sampling. You know, Led Zeppelin stole a bunch of riffs. Like a majority of their catalog is stolen. But, you know, still good songs. They sampled the shit out of people without giving them credit. And that's kind of what the motivational speakers are doing. They're sampling religion without giving it credit. And then, because they know religion's a hot button topic, and you can lose people, they use words like higher selves and inner purpose and, you know, are you heading in the direction you want to be heading in? Shit like that. And it does work for people, because people, you know, at the very base, people want to be leveled with. And they want a little bit of hope, which to me, I don't agree with. I think you should sell to them straight what the situation is. Don't lie to them. Don't give them rules that won't apply for them or really help them in the end. But many of these guys do. But that doesn't mean there isn't good lessons in there. Like one of the guys, ex-football player, he was talking about how he put his wife's glasses on one day and he realized how blind she was. And he kind of made a joke like, damn, I didn't know you were this blind. And then he said in his mind, a concept came to him that not everyone sees with the same prescription. Not everyone sees the same eyes. And that's a fair idea. That's not a bad idea. It's not a full of shit idea. I think it's a very fair, common sense idea. Not everyone sees the same eyes. But because I think, at least particularly America, we have individualized everyone to such a way, these common sense concepts seem mind-blowing. Someone's telling me to care about other people. That's what I've been missing my entire life. But then you look at other countries that do it, and they're like, you just caught up to this very simple idea of living. But I always knew Matthew McConaughey was going to take the turn to guru, because in every interview you'd see him kind of slowly throw out these little McConaugheyisms, you know? Is that what they call them, McConaugheyisms? I'm calling them that. We'll just call it the gospel according to Matthew. And he'll throw out these little gospel readings here and there. I found out from a friend of mine, he's been doing the corporate circuit for years. Like his girlfriend, my boy, she had gone to a conference for her company that they were hosting that he was speaking at. So he's been doing this for a bit. It's not like green lights came out of nowhere. He's been kind of doing the motivational thing on the low. And now he's giving it to the yokels, as my friend put it. Which, you know, as a yokel, but yokel nonetheless. But the entire thing felt like a religious infomercial where all these other gurus were so amazed by how McConaughey took these extremely deep concepts and broke them down to everyday speak. And they just kept like, saying, oh, McConaughey, like, oh, it's going to be more McConaughey. Don't worry about McConaughey. He's not going anywhere. And, just Matthew, when he asked me to be part of this, I knew we were going to be part of something special. And I do like to watch a cult leader on the come up, because it's unfortunate because you always catch cult leaders at the end, but I do like to try to catch a cult leader on the come up. And Matthew McConaughey, who I hope goes full cult, and we are going to have a Waco situation in Beverly Hills. And I'm with it. I think it's time that one of these actors did something more. Okay? I don't care about the movies anymore or the TV shows. I want to see them go full cult, and McConaughey is going to do it. They advertised this program he's got called The Road Trip, where there's landmarks, and he's going to work with you, I guess. It's $300 per person. $300, right? And they were telling that story too. Like, this guy Dexter was talking about how he had paid for Tony Robinson's lecture back in the day, and he was making 40 a week as a janitor, which was interesting how money worked then. But he was making 40 a week as a janitor, and Tony Robinson's program cost $35. And he was like, man, I thought about it. And I was like, I'm going to spend an entire week's wage on information. And everyone was making fun of him because, like, you're buying information. Like, you could have talked to anybody and they kind of would have given you the same advice. But he's like, no, like, that investment I've turned in to something real. And now here I am doing what Tony does. And it was kind of like one of those things where it was like a pyramid scheme. Like, oh, now you're higher on the pyramid scheme now. It worked out for you. You took Tony's concepts and you added some more and you made a whole new thing, and here you are. Good for you. Still a little weird though. I don't know if I would be willing to pay that much money for information if given the wage, discrepancies. $35, that was probably $400 now. And I don't know if I'm paying Matthew McConaughey $300 to guide my life. Especially if he's not going to put me in one of his movies. Because that would be the whole point of getting close to McConaughey, to be in his movies. Even though I think he's a very sweet and swell guy, but I want to be a star, make me a star. Don't, do it the traditional Hollywood way where you would molest me, but give me the opportunity to decide if I want to pass that Rubicon. But then, like, McConaughey goes on this weird thing at the end about the word selfish, and he tries to redefine the word. He's like, selfishness isn't just, about doing your own thing for you. He's like, that's actually good. You should want to do things for you. He's like, where I disagree with selfish is that it doesn't benefit other people. Now, this is a real rich person kind of thing, where the idea is that my selfishness creates more wealth that then creates more jobs and more opportunities, but he's doing it in a spiritual way. So where it's like, if you're selfish and you're working on yourself all the time, then you're technically a better you for other people. But the problem with that is, if you're always inside, you're never outside. So you can never really get, you can never really understand what's going on outside. So the stuff you did inside would apply. You see what I mean? Like, for him, he was misusing the word selfish when he just could use the word self-important. Or not self-important, self-improvement. But he was just trying to, like, do something like, what's that word? Provocative, by saying everyone should be selfish. And listen, you have to be provocative now. All due respect to Matthew, you have to be provocative. And he's trying something. And to be fair, it's only his first sermon, really. Okay? This was his first mega church moment. He had 2 million people watching live. You're not always going to swing home runs. We don't swing home runs, and we've been doing this for, 75 plus hours? I'm not even sure this episode's going to be a home run. But I'm a guy wearing a LaCroix shirt. I look like I'm wearing a LaCroix can in this button-up shirt. So you should definitely take advice from me. But it was There's this one guy who was talking about influence. He's like, influencer gets a bad word. And influence has now been, treated like a bad word. But when you're with people and you're giving influence, you're selling to them. And selling's not bad, because selling is love. And you're selling your influence because you want to make them better. He kind of caught himself midway during this diatribe, because then he started to go, and I know I kind of sound like a sales pitch and I'm trying to sell you something, but I'm actually just telling you the truth about what it is to do for others. When we're selling, we're doing for others. And as someone who used to be a salesman, that's horse shit. It's not. It's actually a grueling process. It's a miserable process because people don't know what the fuck they want. And you have to then literally be a sounding board to a degenerate who is just looking to get something out of you at the cheapest price imaginable, not thinking that you might have bills you have to pay. So they should pay full price, but I now have to discount 60% so the company could think I did something right, which is weird because if I discount 60%, then we're not making profit. But then somehow not making profit is a good thing. Do you see what I'm talking about here? Selling is horse shit. It's always been horse shit. The customer is dumb. The customer is not always right. They've been dumb since the beginning. There were never a smart time for consumers. They're morons. God bless them. There are morons. They make this country great. But at some point, there was a sales pitch in the middle of this McConaughey thing for 6 hours. And I watched all 6 hours. Because I like to see a new cult begin. Will I join McConaughey's cult? Maybe. There are a bunch of pretty people in it. And I think I'm reasonably good looking for the size I am. I think I could be part of McConaughey cult. I don't have a six pack, but I can try. I probably won't though, because my positive thinking tells me I'm fine just the way I am. And I just need to find my goal. I need to be broke and focus only on my hustle that makes me no money, because then eventually it'll make me money at an unknown time. So I could be a hobo still doing the hustle, not making money. That's how it works. You have to risk it all, apparently. But McConaughey was kind of the only guy I felt was legitimate, at least attempting to be. He was talking about how it's all about where you want to get to and how do you get there. Very simple philosophy. McConaughey's fun. I think he's adorable. But I do think he's now just turned to the guru space, and this will only be better for him. The sooner he leaves acting, which he's great at, the more he can develop in his cult leader space. And I want to say I was there for the first event. I would love to be a disciple if it came with a signed copy of True Detective. And he would watch every episode with me as I ask him many questions about his process. Because that's what I want to know. I don't want the positive speaking shit. I want the Russ Cole shit. Are you going to join the cult, Bobby? Awesome. Bobby just nodded his head yes immediately. Bobby's a huge McConaughey fan. You never abandoned even during the rom-coms? I abandoned him during the rom-coms. I don't stick around. I leave when the getting's good. Matthew McConaughey's not the only guy with a art to live in. I too have an art to life, a philosophy, if you will. Why should he have all the fun? How about we jump in, Bob? How about we get in on this, make some money for ourselves? What if I could change your life in one sentence? I could heal all the relationships in your life with your family, your friends, your spouse, all of it. I could fix everything in one sentence. And it's a simple sentence. One, you'd have to be a moron not to understand. You ready for it? You ready for the key to life? Everyone's trash, including you. There you go. Don't you feel that? Don't you feel a lift of the burden of expectation now? Isn't that melting away from you? Don't you feel better knowing the truth that you're trash and everyone's trash? Because that's the only way we're going to get past anything. if we come to a level of acceptance. You have to kill expectation to embrace life as it is. Everyone inevitably will let you down because they're trash. And you will let other people down because you are trash. It is a very simple philosophy. What are you holding on to? Not much. Are we not all in a self-serving relationship with ourselves? So, cut the cord. Embrace it a little bit. Cut the cord from everything else. Reality. Cut it all out of here. You're trash. You're not special. Things aren't going to happen for you. And for those that do, well, they're lucky. Not necessarily disciplined or smart or should be where they should be. No, they're lucky. But doesn't that feel better to know that inevitably there's nothing you can do about your station because you're trash? And how can you get mad at other people anymore? How can you hold a grudge when you go, hey, that person's trash. What can I do? Stop having expectations. Stop having beliefs of how people should behave and accept them for the trash they are. Embrace it. Take people as they are, not what you want them to be. Smart move. McConaughey is trying to reinterpret the word selfish. I'm not trying to reinterpret words. I'm just telling you straight up. Everyone's trash. And it's a freeing energy. I feel better just saying it. And I know this is a hard thing to keep up with on the day-to-day. So don't worry, I got you. You can pre-order my book, Everyone's Trash, including you. How to be biodegradable in a world that no longer has value. Now, I haven't written this book yet, and I don't know if I will, but there will be a pre-order for the possible book. And to get that pre-order, you should follow the socials at This Will End in Darkness on Twitter. Actually, no, This Will End in Darkness on Instagram. TWEID Show on Twitter. Like and subscribe to be able to pre-order this book I have not written yet. And in this book, there will be rules, strategies, stories from my life and history. I'm not sure because I haven't really mapped out the book yet. But this book will save your life. Because what's holding you back is you. See, I can do self-motivation because really what it's always about is you. You're always the problem. But then people try to make it seem a bit more fluffy. You're the problem, but no, you're the problem. 100%. You're the problem. People only get away with what you allow them to. And if you're allowing a lot, that's your fault. People like to blame trauma and their childhoods. I say no. I say blame yourself. You pay people to lie to you. You pay churches. You pay Tony Robbins. Pay me to tell you the truth. By pre-ordering this book, I have not written yet. Bobby, will you be buying my book? Don't even answer because you need to buy my book. I'm not going to give you the book for free, Bobby, because you need it. Your life is meaningless. You're the producer of this show. Your life is done. This is the top it's ever going to get. People get one or two things they do in life great and rest on those laurels forever. Like Billy Eichner. I have no idea how he's lasted this long, but that fucking TV show has done a lot of credit for him. He hasn't been funny since. No one saw Bros, and I was advocating for Bros, but I didn't see Bros because I knew it wouldn't be funny. Because Billy Eichner is not funny, but hey, he was funny once. And look at him, resting on his laurels. Now, granted, in this new philosophy I'm pitching, because he's trash, I should also acknowledge I too am trash, and that's where we meet. We are two trash people. He'll end up in a better dump than I am, but inevitably, we will be trash. In the Catholic Church on Ash Wednesday, they tell you, we are dust, and dust we shall return. I have a different one. We are trash, and we will go to the dump where we belong. Freeing. I feel better. If you're someone who needs this book, pre-order it now, because I can save your life. Are you a heroin addict at a bus stop that has a USB charger, wondering where did it go wrong? I can save your life. Were you working on Epstein's Island? I can save your life. Are you a presidential candidate who has no idea what day it is every day? I can save your life. Are you another presidential candidate who is facing jail time for daring to bang a porn star? I can save your life. Are you a young whippersnapper congresswoman who went to Washington, D.C., thinking she was going to disrupt the system, but then became part of the system that she was going to disrupt, and now is kind of a lackey for that system? I can save your life. Now, this idea I have is more of just a letting go kind of thing. Accepting that inevitably you are trash, and you will become a disappointment not only to yourself, but to others. And that should be a way we all operate, because there's empathy there. How can I not relate to someone who's also trash if I am trash? Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Your life is in shambles. Let it go. Let it go. No one's gonna save us, 'cause your government's a cult and your economy is fake. But don't worry about it, 'cause we're all gonna be dead anyway. Like, do you see what I'm giving you? This is top tier stuff. I'm working, doing my thing, man. I'm working it. Why not pay me to tell you the truth? Nothing is special. Oh, you're having a baby? That's not special. People do it all the time. Bam. Thumbs down that. Nothing you do will be relevant for the most part, unless you have a lot of followers on social media. That's different. But all of us can't be those people, because sometimes you're not trash enough to be that. That's what I've come to realize. I don't think people are famous or successful because they're good people. They're trash enough to con the system. The con man is the only man living in truth around here. And I am choosing to be a con man, because we see the angles. We see that every person has a built-in desire to have a personal religion, whether it's with God or themselves. So here I am giving you a new way to look at life. You're trash. Now, does that mean you can't be recyclable? Maybe. Maybe you can be recyclable and be used for a bigger purpose, but you won't know if you're that unless you pre-order my book that I have not written yet. That's the key. You gotta get the book, and I would have to write the book. But I'm only gonna write the book if there's a lot of interest, because writing a book is a lot of work. And I don't know if I have the time. Kind of do. But I am binging Snowfall currently, so that could get in the way of valuable book writing time. What do you think, Bobby? Are you in on this with me? You're not going to let me go by myself on this, right? Great. I have a partner. You can be the deacon in my new religion, the temple of trash. That is all we are. Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying is right. You know what I'm saying is right. We far too often think people should behave the way we would behave, not realizing the way we behave is kind of questionable to somebody. Many of us identify as intelligent and articulate, handsome. But on the outside looking in, that's not true. I can tell you, you're trash. Many of us think we're the prom queen when we're actually the band geek. And that's okay, because both of those people are equally trash. If everyone's trash, we got one big garbage dump together. And you know what's in the garbage dump? Sometimes some valuables. Depending on what kind of hobo you are. If you're an ingenuitive hobo, you can MacGyver something together. Are you a woman who is a sister wife for 20 years and you're finally out and you need something to believe in? I can save your life. I can do it. This one thing will save many lives, because if you save yourself from disappointment, moving on is a lot easier. People want to sell you that it's getting better, and those people are on crack. It's not getting better. It's getting worse all the time. So why not embrace a philosophy that is right there with you? And this is not nihilism, by the way. This is not nihilism. This is optimistic nihilism. Okay? Because granted, while saying we all end up in the dirt anyway is a rather nihilistic notion, I am excited by the idea. Because now I can just do what I want. I can just be whatever I want, because there is no expectation. Who will remember me? No one. Fuck it. Do what you want. I'll remember on my deathbed the cool things I did, how rad I was. This very episode will probably flash right into my brain in my final seconds, and I will go, I've wasted my life. But that's for me to decide. There will be no expectation of what everyone else thinks about me, because I won't be around. But that's the key. Everyone's garbage. We're all going to the same place. No one's special. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. I don't judge. I'm not going to tell you how to be a better person. I'm just going to let you accept yourself. Accept your flaws, because that's what you are. All the good stuff you do, I guess that's something to talk about to your therapist. But all the shitty stuff, do with me. I am a worthy guru, and I will lead you to the promised land of acceptance. If you pre-order my book that I have not written yet, Everyone is Trash, including you, How to Be Biodegradable in a World That No Longer Has Value. That is the pitch I'm making. If Matthew McConaughey could have a 6-hour stream about positive fucking thinking, I've literally only done about 12 minutes of just telling you the truth. And if you don't feel better after this, then I don't fucking tell you. Living in the dream world, man. I feel better now. I feel better. You want to know why? Because I've ascended. You people need me because I've ascended. I have grown beyond these conventions. Why? Not by personal growth and innovation. Because I've given up. I am giving up to reach my higher self. When you are free of expectation, you can achieve anything. Once you are trash, there is nowhere else to go but up. And that is the basis of my new philosophy and my new book that I'm maybe writing. If there's a lot of pre-orders, I'm into it. We'll do a t-shirt, maybe. See if we can generate interest in this book of ours. I'm not selling you hope because you're a dope. We're all dopes. There is no hope. Down with it all. Just say no. Say yes to everything. Don't say no anymore. Just do what you want. Do what you want. What will people think about me? Who cares? They're garbage. They're not cool. All those embarrassing things you think about late at night, they have those embarrassing things too. But they're not telling anyone because they're not living their truth. that they're trash. But you can get them there by giving them a copy of my book that I haven't written yet. Should we close this out with a trash prayer? Let's go for it. Our garbage man who comes every other morning, may you take us to the dump where we belong. May we be amongst our own and slowly rot away under the hot sun, returning to the earth from which we came, but more than likely, being made of components that are toxic to it, and our very death is helping kill the planet. And then when the planet dies, the universe will not feel it. When our galaxy dies, the universe will not feel it. When the universe dies, we will not feel it. Because we are trash, and we will have long been destroyed by then. Amen. Pre-order the book. There'll be some good stuff in there, I think. We should really get working on it. I think it could be a New York Times bestseller. Some will think we're writing this book ironically. Believe me, when we go on the book tour, I will let them know. This is not irony I'm writing. It's straight facts. Coming straight from the heart, yo. I'm working on killing my expectations, 'cause I always get my feelings hurt. And I'm gonna kill my expectations, 'cause we're all fucked anyway. Like, see, you turn it into hymns and songs and it feels better. I feel better from singing that. Sing along at home. Make up your own trash songs. Make up songs about how terrible your life is. And once you see that you've put it to a snappy rhythm, you'll go, hey, that's how marketing works. That's how products work. Repackaging the trauma and the destructiveness of one's human existence into something snappy. Now you're into money. But you're only going to get there unless you dig into the soul that you have. The soul of trash. With that being said, we will be back with more darkness after this. Oh yeah, it's the weekend. Don't got much money, but don't mean you can't have fun. Don't mean you can't open up a nice cold brokey. Cheap beer, cheap people. Brought to you by the Northern Bones Brewery. Welcome back. Some people may have taken our philosophy that everyone is trash and everything is trash a little too far. A news story has come out recently that's quite fucked. Couple beheaded themselves with homemade guillotine as a sacrifice. One thing I want to say is congrats on the ingenuity. Because who kills themselves by guillotine anymore? Not many. Practically none. It's a really hard setup for a suicide, really. It takes a lot of commitment. And to be fair, that's more commitment than most suicide cases. A husband and wife from India simultaneously decapitated themselves over the weekend using an improvised guillotine rigged in such a way that their severed heads rolled directly into a fire altar as a form of human sacrifice, officials said. Notice that's the best reading I've ever done in this podcast ever. Yet it's probably the most horrific thing I've ever read on this podcast ever. In the darkness, I show up. Oh, their names are fucked. I'm just not. The husband, 38, and his wife, 35, committed the sickening act sometime between Saturday and Sunday in the village of Vinchia. I'm confident in that one. Located in the Rajkot district of the western state of Gujarat. Jesus, like, so the village, state, and the village, district, and state gets listed. That's a whole That's a lot for an address. Quotation. The couple first prepared a fire altar before putting their heads under a guillotine-like mechanism held by a rope. As soon as they released the rope, an iron blade fell on them, severing their heads, which rolled into the fire. That right there is a team effort by both people. I don't think me and my girlfriend could pull that off. I just don't think we're that level of we don't have that ingenuity in us. You know what I mean? We wouldn't take the time to build the guillotine and test it out a few times to make sure it rolls where it has to roll. At most, we can probably write a funny skit, maybe do a Johnny Cash, June Carter duet, but not more than that. But these people engineered an amazing suicide. There's a fire altar, there's heads being chopped off. They decided that, hey, we're going out together. Why not make it fucking epic? You know, why not take it to a level that no one has ever taken it to before? And that's what I think we need in this time of, we've seen it all on TV, the internet. We've seen every kind of way a human life could be taken. But this is taking it up a notch. This is thinking about the content game later. This is going to be a Netflix documentary, I hope, one day. This couple knew how to make content. The couple's two children, 12 and 13, well, found their headless torsos when they returned home from visiting their uncle in a nearby village, where they had been sent by their parents the day before. Well, that's not good. Certainly those children are scarred from seeing their parents' decapitated bodies. It's a bit much. I probably would have gave someone a heads up to clean it up before the kids came home. You know, I just would let somebody know, hey, we're going to do it now. You should come and clean up the bodies. According to authorities, they found a suicide note written in, they have their own language, Gujarati? Gujarati? Gujarati. Or Gujarati? Because the J is an H, maybe? I don't know. I've never been there. Stating that the couple had taken their own lives willingly and that no one was to blame for their deaths. Of course, there's no one to blame. How do you blame the economy? It's not one person. How do you blame inflation? It's not a person you can punch. You know? Of course, there's no one to blame. Society's to blame. Society's not one person. It's a mixture of people. So look at them. Even in their suicide note, they're being dope about it. Like, hey, there's no one to blame here. It's not your fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's just the way things are. Like, we're done. You know, we had a run. This is what it is. We both decided it's better to bounce and stick around here. Shit ain't getting any better. Peace out. I respect that. They were really thoughtful in not blaming anyone. If it was my suicide note, I'm blaming everybody. Oh, it's a long list of grievances. It would be like 16 pages of just grievances if it was me. They're trying to determine if the twin beheadings were part of a black magic ritual. Well, now we really know what's going on. They're hoping this black magic ritual actually pays off, that their family makes some kind of money, that something, you know, is done for them. Because right here it says the couple have been worshiping the god Shiva in one of their improvised temples. So, and Shiva's the destroyer god. So they were thinking, hey, you know, we're fucked. No, nothing else to do. Let's Shiva take the wheel. And boy, did she. Okay, so the couple was not facing any financial hardship or relationship problems. The case was investigated as an accidental death, and the victim's bodies were sent to the coroners to undergo autopsies. So no money problems, no marital issues that no one knows about. This is not going to be a popular take. I feel it as I think it. But maybe between us here and the people watching at home, which is a fair amount, but not a lot, maybe the kids were fucking annoying. Maybe the kids were just fucking annoying and they had enough. And they were like, fuck, we can't get away from them. You can't get away from them when I'm away. I can't get away from them when you're away. We can't even be together all the time because these fucking kids are so fucking annoying. And they said, fuck it. You know what would be cool? You know where we can have time to ourselves? In a different world. An afterlife, if you will. So they went through with the ritual. That, I think I might just solve the case here. Because no financial issues, no marital problems. What's the only other thing in the household? Children. And children are fucking beasts. That is a well-known fact. Children are just... You want to know how I know they're that bad? Because all adults used to be children. And all adults are trash. And that's the way to look at it. These kids were probably little trash bags giving their parents fucking grief. And they went, you know what? These fucking kids are so fucking annoying. We're going to give them something to remember. They're going to find our bodies heads off at a fire altar. Deal with that. Oh, I bet you don't want that extra ice cream now, do you? Oh, you wish you lived with somebody else? Now you can't because we're not here anymore. Some would say that parents would be gaslighting their children in that situation. No. I think the parents were standing up for their independence, and God bless them. Shiva bless them. Whatever happened, God bless. But damn, what a way to go. And there was passion behind it because the heads rolled perfectly into the fire altar. It was like they were playing that game. Remember that computer game, The Incredible Machine? We had to put all those pieces together and then make sure it just worked. Like you had to have fans, rumbling heaters and stuff, all just essentially just a dumb machine that just functioned, and it can be as big and as creative as you want it to be. That's what they were doing. The Incredible Machine, a reference kids born in 88 and 74 would understand. That's what they were doing. They were getting creative with it. This was their Ninja Warrior. This was their American Gladiators. This was their battle bots. Their Shark Tank. But hey, maybe if they were smart, they should have patented the idea and left the patent to someone so they could sell this style of suicide to other people. Because now Canada's running commercials for assisted suicide. Now we have a new way of doing it. Guillotine fire altar. That's a way better way. That's a better way to go out, in my opinion, instead of just an injection, or the drugs they give you. Why not go all the way and be metal about it? Fire altar. There was a lot this couple could have done, but they weren't thinking that far ahead. They were thinking with the sweet release of getting far away from their children. And God bless them. Now those kids are fucked. I can't imagine what it's like finding your parent without their head, laying at home. At first, you would like to think, oh, this is the start of a true crime series where I now have to avenge them and figure out who committed this ghastly murder. But then you find out it was a suicide where, quote unquote, no one is to blame. That's a nice way of saying it was the fucking kids. Let's be honest. But, now you get stuck there with two parents with no head. And if they get stuck with the grandparents, they can forget about going outside ever again. Those grandparents aren't going to let them out. They'll be afraid for them 24/7. The kids they thought they knew just chopped their heads off. Now I have to take care of their kid who might have chop my head off genes in them. No, thank you. Might as well send those kids away. Sanitarium wouldn't be a bad idea. It's a lot better than growing up in a house where two parents chopped off their head, I'll tell you that much. Couples doing ritual suicide seems to be a thing these days. Non-couple Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon found themselves in the middle of a couple ritual. Both fired on the same day. Which that had to piss Don Lemon off. He was hoping that day would be about him. Then here comes Tucker Carlson. to steal that thunder. The white man stealing another thing from the black man. The thunder of being fired. But I kind of like that both of them got fired because both of them are nutcases, right? And we make fun of Don Lemon and Tucker all the time on this show. But imagine, if you will, a situation where a young upstart news organization gets Tucker and gets Don and creates Tucker and Lemon, the modern day Crossfire show. Imagine those two guys on the same show arguing ad nauseum. It's perfect. It's perfect. And here's the thing. Don's not that progressive because a few years, like remember the Obama years, he was very respectability politics. Pull up your pants. Have some respect for yourself. He was Bill Cosbying it. Then Bill Cosby got found to be a rapist and he changed his tune real quick. And it was also weird to play that kind of angle during the Obama years where we were all agreeing that black people should be unapologetically black and just be themselves. But Don didn't feel that way. But he certainly felt that way when Donald Trump showed up. But I think Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon would be great together. This could be the buddy comedy we need to heal the rift in America. Here's one guy who thinks January 6th was just a fun time, and here's another guy who aggressively hates the women he does broadcast with. White women in particular. And who do we make fun of now? White women. So Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon need each other. This is the time to put them together. This is how we heal the country. I thought it would be with Brian Laundrie in his court case, but that never happened. But this is the way we do it. One is a borderline, maybe possibly, who knows, white racist. And another is a gay black man who hates women. That's crazy. That's a combination I never thought I'd see coming together, but this is the time to do it. And we do need Crossfire back. I always kind of hated Jon Stewart for going on Crossfire and lighting them up. Because, hey, we get it, okay? We knew what Crossfire was. No one was taking Crossfire seriously, only him. And I say with all due respect to Jon Stewart, I love Jon Stewart, but I was always a little like, relax, buddy. We all appreciated what Crossfire was. It was fun. It was a good afternoon show. Look at these old men arguing. Well, at least Tucker wasn't so old then, but he was still wearing a bow tie, so that made him old by proxy. I'm into it. Tucker and Lemon, Lemon and Tucker. That could be the theme song. Tucker and Lemon, Lemon and Tucker. And the whole thing is them fighting over the title of the show because they're both prima donnas who want to be praised for their outspoken voices. People try to make it seem like Don Lemon was fired for that back and forth with the Republican congressman or Republican candidate for president. And granted, that probably helped, but that was a cherry on a real big sundae that had been building. Rupert Murdoch had gotten tired of Tucker and thought Tucker, because of the Dominion lawsuit where he was claiming the election was rigged. So they said, well, fuck him. He's costing us money. Get him out of here. Though Tucker was the most watched man in news. So ballsy move there. But Rupert Murdoch's dying, so he doesn't care. His sons care. They're in a succession-like situation. Did you hear that Rupert Murdoch's ex-wife had a clause in her contract for their divorce that she couldn't talk to the succession writers and give them ideas? That's a man who's in the know. I hope to have an NDA for my future divorce if I have one. I don't think I'm gonna. I think this lady likes me a lot. I think I'll be fine. But I think everyone should be signing NDAs. Bobby, you should have an NDA for this show. Because the abuse I throw at you should have an NDA protection on it. Now you're probably wondering at home, what kind of abuse do Bobby, my producer, I just throw things at him. Just typical host of a show behavior. That's why, I kind of want Don Lemon to come back. I know what it's like to hate the people you work with, to feel like you're the star. They're not giving you what you need. So you have to torture your staff to get the best out of them. if they hate you, that they have a bigger passion for wanting to prove you wrong. I understand Don Lemon. Now, I never heard anything negative about Tucker Carlson's crew. His crew seems to like him a lot. So everyone in Fox seemed to like Tucker a lot. Everyone at CNN seemed to hate Don. So it was an odd day for firings. A tale of two firings, if you will. Another book I will be writing. But I hope someone puts them together. It's going to be a good show. We should do it. We should contact both and see if we can get both of them on this show. They'll say no, but the attempt should be made to get them on this When in Darkness and see if WRKM will have the balls to put these two together. I'll produce it. I'll be the guy. I'll moderate it. Just anything I can do to get these two men in the room talking to each other about anything. I'd pay good money for that. Do you know they both have the same lawyer for their contract disputes? That's how I know those two are going to have a nice, long friendship. Interesting bedfellows, eh? But maybe they too can come together in a ritual sacrifice, chopping both their heads off and their heads rolling onto a news desk. And it just stares at the camera longingly. This is what they're sacrificing for their freedom of speech in this country. I can get with that. That actually wouldn't be a bad broadcast. Definitely people would, be shocked and appalled by watching a beheading live. But if you grew up post 9/11 on the internet, you saw a lot of beheadings. There was always some video clip going viral. You've seen it. Faces of Death, come on. People pretend they didn't see it, but they saw it. Maybe that's the next step for Tucker and Lemon. A ritual sacrifice for their freedom of speech. I support it. I want to be there. I want to broadcast it. I want to commentate on it. I'm a man of ideas this episode. I'll tell you one idea I have. I know exactly how this one's going to end.